So when person to be arrested inside a building, then another principal class, you have the power. Okay? If the person to be arrested or is reasonably believed to be within any building or enclosure, the rule authorizes the officer to what? In order to make an arrest, to break into, okay, breaking into the building or enclosure if he is refused admittance thereto after announcing of his authority and purpose class. After entering the building or enclosure, he may break out from said place if necessary to liberate himself from the same place. So this is the principle of what we call breaking into the building or breaking out from the building in order to liberate himself. Breaking into the building to effect arrest, and breaking out from the building to liberate himself plus. So no issue as to warrantless arrest, okay? Because they are already been, okay, has been expressly provided. So but for purposes of a matter of recall or memorization, if you want to class, here, when in his presence the person to be arrested has committed, is actually committing, or is attempting to commit. Okay, this is the principle of flagrante delicto. Then, number 2, the principle of probable cause or personal knowledge. Okay, when an offense has just been committed, and he has probable cause to believe, and based on personal knowledge of facts and circumstances, that the person to be arrested has committed it. And letter C class, that the person to be arrested is a prisoner who has escaped from a penal establishment or place where he is serving final judgment, or temporarily confined while his case is pending, or has escaped while being transferred from one confinement to another. So these are the instances of what we call warrantless arrest. Well, who may make the warrantless arrest? Well, under the principle, it's the police officer, as well as we have the principle of citizen's arrest. Okay? So you know that principle under the Rule 113 of the Rules of Court class. A peace officer or private citizen may, without warrant, arrest a person when in his presence the person to be arrested has committed, is actually committing, or is attempting to commit an offense. This is known as what we call flagrante delicto. The arrest made by a private person under the circumstances provided for under rule is usually called citizen arrest class. So, flagrante delicto, okay, that is the basic principle that we have. Now, there is no much issue about flagrante delicto, but the principle is the probable cause and personal knowledge. Okay? In short, the principle of a hot pursuit operation. Okay? What is a hot pursuit operation? When an offense has been committed and he has probable cause to believe, based on personal knowledge of facts and circumstances, that the person to be arrested has committed. So, the second instance of lawful warrantless arrest, ay covered by paragraph P, cited, okay, two stringent requirements before a warrantless arrest can be effected. Number 1, that an offense has been committed. Number 2, the person making the arrest has 1, personal knowledge of the fact and circumstances that the person to be arrested has committed it. He himself has personal knowledge that the person to be arrested has committed it. This exception does not require that the arresting officer or person to personally witness the commission of the crime. In fact, the offense was not committed in his presence, although said offense, as required by the rules, has been committed. The tenor of the rule obviously emphasizes the immediacy of the warrant of the arrest reckoned from the commission of the crime class. So, What is important in a hot pursuit principle is the principle of immediacy, okay, between the time of the commission of the offense and the time of arrest. And this principle is what we call in a case-to-case basis. Let's have this case. An arrest made based on information from an unnamed source a day after the crime is committed is considered as invalid. Okay, just one day has lapsed. Another, the accused was arrested 6 days after. Okay, after the commission of the crime. The same was invalid. Okay, because the crime is no longer has just been committed. Now, the principle on personal knowledge, okay, under the hot pursuit operation, does not refers to actual knowledge, means you have actual knowledge of the commission of the crime. What it requires is that the knowledge referred to is the knowledge that a crime was committed even if it was not committed in his presence. Under the flagrante delicto exception, the person making the arrest himself witnessed the crime. In the hot pursuit operation, as an exception class, the person making the arrest knows of a fact that a crime has been committed. Okay, the first one, he witnessed the commission of the crime. That's the principle of flagrante delicto. But in hot pursuit operation class, the requirement is that the person making the arrest knows that a crime has been committed. That there is a crime committed, class. So personal knowledge of facts must be based on probable cause. So if there is a probable cause, or your knowledge is based on a probable cause, or personal knowledge is based on a probable cause, then, okay, that is a ground. Sir, it's a mere suspicion. Is that enough for a hot pursuit operation? No. Okay, that's not enough. Okay, but if your suspicion is coupled with good faith, and there is another person that may affirm or have personal knowledge, then that will become what we call personal knowledge based on probable cause. So, hindi ho kayo malilito dito, class. Ang tandaan nyo, pag hot pursuit operation, you have a probable cause based on personal knowledge. And personal knowledge that you have, you know that a crime has been committed. And that the person to be arrested is the one who committed it. So that is the rule. And take note, under this principle, there must be immediacy from the time of the commission of the crime and up to the time of the arrest. Sir, can I make an arrest even in the middle of the night? Yes. Section 6, Rule 111 of the 113 of the Rules of Court. An arrest may be made on any day and at any time of the day or night. So, right of a person arrested, of course, under 7438, okay, and of course, you know that very well, the Miranda Doctrine, right? So, I will not discuss that anymore. Custodial investigation, class. Class, the doctrine of custodial investigation is plain and simple. If a person is arrested and taken into custody, the only person who is not allowed to conduct investigation and make inquiry is the police officer. But if somebody, an individual or a citizen, was conducting what we call this question and answer, and he answered, class, that is not what we call a violation of custodial investigation. Okay? So, when the inquiry is not conducted by a particular police officer, because this is what we call extrajudicial confession, no? It will not be an incriminating. If it is that is, the question is conducted by an ordinary citizen or an individual. So that is the thing that you need to remember. The right to counsel about being questioned for the commission of the crime is part of Miranda Doctrine. So I do not need to discuss that anymore. You have that because on the principle of what we call right of the accused under custodial investigation. Sir, what is the effect of illegal arrest on the jurisdiction of the court? Well, it affects the jurisdiction of the court over the persons of the accused. The illegality of the arrest only affects the jurisdiction of the court over the persons of the accused. Why? Because the court must have jurisdiction over the subject matter. But take note this principle, class. If you are raising as an issue the arrest, legality of arrest, you must raise that before your arraignment. And despite your invocation of it, class, the court requires you to enter your plea, then, okay, at least you have an issue as to the, what we call, illegality of the arrest. Why? Because if a person is arrested illegally, all the evidence obtained by violation of his arrest or illegal arrest will become a fruit of poisonous tree. Sir, what's the effect of admission to bail on a person who was illegally arrested? Accused posted the bail, but he was illegally arrested. Well, it do not affect, class. It do not validate the illegality of arrest. He can question, I should say, the validity of arrest before he is arraigned. So class, tandaan nyo lang, if you are raising an issue of illegal arrest, you must raise that before arraignment. Otherwise, you are deemed to have waived it once you entered your plea. Sir, can the legality of arrest be waived? Yes. Tulad ng sabi ko, if you do not question that before you plea, then your right on or a violation of your right on the legality of your arrest, then it will be waived. Well, class, the congressman, the senator, they have what we call the privilege. They are not allowed to be arrested while they will be attending the session when the crime committed, okay, when the offense is punishable by imprisonment of more than 6 years, even if the Congress is in session. If the offense committed is less than 6 years, okay, then you cannot arrest that person. But if the congressman or senator committed crime more than 6 years, then they can be arrested. That is the principle on the what we call this an immunity, okay? The legislative immunity class. Okay? That is the principle of person not subject to arrest under the principle of legislative immunity. So that is the extent of what we call arrest class. So I end up my discussion, and that's the extent of the coverage of your free limb.